A very good morning to you, and it's great to be back on Core Finance to do my CEO interview slot. Today, I'm extremely fortunate to be interviewing Helge, who is the CEO of Longboat Energy, and it's great to see you, Helge.
Thanks a lot, Malcy. Great
Welcome
to see
along, and
you.
it's I mean, as you know, I've been chasing you for a long time for this slot, but obviously you've been very busy. You've had a lot to do after the start. People always expect fireworks straight away, but tell me, what I'd like to do to begin with, if that's okay, is to just give a sort of an overview of Longboat. Most people know you guys came from Faro, but an overview would be great to start off with, if that's okay.
Yes. When Faro was sold back in 2019, and we set up Longboat Energy with the old Faro management team to replicate the success that Faro had. If you recall, Faro was very exploration driven, created full cycle E&P company by being very exploration driven and then swapping and selling discoveries, and very much looking to do the same thing but faster this time, actually.
Why do you think that the DNO team didn't keep anybody? Because they let you a completely open road, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a while back now. I think DNO has gone on with their business, and I think they've made a few nice discoveries in the ex-Faro acreage. Actually, last one was in the Bergknapp. So good luck to them. I think they're doing okay. We're very happy to be getting on with our own business now, actually. So
fair enough. And you said you've learned a number of lessons from the first time round. Your idea of being a sort of full cycle and so on, but quicker, is that that you're keen to move a bit faster?
Yeah, Faro went back when Faro started very much as a pure explorer in the Faroe Islands, then went into Norway. It was a long road and was very successful in Norway, but went very organic in applying for rounds, shooting seismic. Took Faro quite a few years before the company was in a position to drill a multi-well program. And now with the approach we've taken, we are right up there drilling 7 wells within the next 18 months. So
let's take it from there. I think it'd be nice to go into some detail now with the farm-ins that you've announced, and tell us all about them, really. Let's have a look at some details, if that's okay.
Yes. The program, what was really interesting was we were looking initially with Longboat at production acquisitions, really hard to find for us to find kind of the value that we were looking for in that. Had to do with a pandemic, the oil price crash, people really holding on to their cash flow, but exploration was available. I mean, a lot of exploration farming opportunities were in the market, and nobody were looking at those. We had our team. We have all the expertise and the knowledge from Faro, so we have kind of all that really key to building a portfolio is to have that detailed geological knowledge, and we applied that, and we basically built a bespoke program through three transactions. Biggest one was with Equinor, and then we had one with Spirit and one with Idemitsu. So 3 transactions and 7 wells, and we put all of that together, and that was announced on 1st of June. And then we went ahead and financed that, which we were very happy with in the equity market. And then we've gone through all the approval processes and completed all those deals on the 31st of August. And now we are, as a fully recognized E&P player in Norway, and already drilling away on the first 2 wells, and the third one is to spud soon.
So you've called this a fairly low risk approach. given that you're obviously in with big partners and you're close to existing infrastructure in most cases, perhaps you could expand on that a bit.
Yes, I mean, I think that's very much picking up where Faro was very successful, and a lot of other players in Norway is the near field exploration. Norway is compared to the UK is less mature, a lot of opportunities still in the near field, and you've had really high quality seismic being acquired around these platforms. So that has been, like in Norway, the last couple of years have seen really high success rates in exploration, up around 50%. So we've kind of handpicked prospects in exactly like on that theme, being near field, and near field also being very good from an ESG point of view. I mean, we're adding barrels to existing infrastructure.
So that prompts me to ask two more questions on that front. Is it just Norway then for the time being?
Yeah, I mean, the strategy is unchanged, is to be an EMP player, full cycle EMP player in the North Sea. I think the first deal was Norway, so the start is Norway, but you know, we are opportunistic on whether the next deal is Norway or the UK, or so that's kind of an open. We'll just look for opportunities in the market.
Yeah, so you're not writing off the UK, and I mean, when Faro, I remember Faro, you know, whatever the next deal, wherever it came from, it didn't matter, but you know, you're happy to work in both countries.
Definitely, I think there are plenty of opportunities in both countries. They're quite different opportunities, so it's good. I think it's good risk management to be in both countries.
Yeah. And the other question that came out from your answer just now was that because of the quality of the partners you're working with, does that mean you're effectively covered for the low carbon future that people are expecting?
Yeah, I think we have a very good approach to that, because we I mean, and you'll also see that we have a lot of gas. So I think that you see these days gas and infrastructure. I mean, you know, you by adding more gas molecules to existing platforms, you lower the emissions per energy unit produced. So that and you know, particularly gas, but also oil is play roles in decades to come in energy transition.
Yeah, because I've got this question later on in the interview. I might as well do it now, because have you got a specific gas versus oil ratio in mind?
I think it's hard to do that. I think we are. I mean, in this specific program, it's roughly 3/4 gas. I think if we can choose between a good gas and a good oil prospect, we might take the gas one, but it's not. We haven't kind of quantified a goal in that sense. I think that's very hard, because you have to remain opportunistic.
Brilliant. Can we go through the 3 wells, or the 2 wells that have just spudded and the one that is about to spud, in a bit more detail?
Yes. So the first one is called Rødhette. It's a Red Riding Hood. It's
I heard you say that in the presentation. I like that.
Yeah, that's a prospect in the Barents Sea, but it's not. Barents Sea is seen as frontier exploration area, and it is a frontier. But one part which is sub-basin called Hammerfest Basin, is very mature actually, and there are multiple fields. There's Snow White LNG scheme, and there is a field called Goliath, operated by Vår Energi, and Vår Energi, which is ENI and high tech, and that field has produced for some years and will go off plateau in the coming years. So it's quite timely to drill a near field prospect. This is a prospect 30 kilometers to the north of Goliath. There is strong evidence, a strong indication, I would say, of a gas presence of gas in the Rødhette location. And I can think the key target is to find an oil rim sitting under that gas cap. I mean, the Goliath field itself is a gas cap with an oil rim.
Yeah.
So if you find a similar setting, there could be good commercial volumes, and and a very easy development route through to Goliath, and also plenty of commercial kind of possible transaction and parties to work with in that area.
Then you've got Egyptian Vulture.
Yes, Egyptian Vulture. That's right in home turf of where Pharaoh was very active. Drilled multiple wells. We made a Maria discovery and a Fogelberg discovery, Iris Heights discovery. All of those are in the kind of right there on the Halton Terrace, as it's called. You have the big infrastructure. There you have Åsegard Field and Hadrian Field. So a very good setting. It's a Cretaceous target, potentially quite large. 100 million BOE gas equivalents as a gas condensate prospect could be developed through existing infrastructure.
And they're both about 6 weeks, and then you've got, is it Mugnetid?
Yes, and then it's Mugnetind. Mugnetind is right way down south in the southern Norwegian North Sea, next to where you have Ekofisk and Ula Field, and on the UK side you have the J fields and Pierce, and so plenty of tieback opportunities there. This is an area where you have I mean, most of the closures are oil field, actually, if you look statistically. So even without seismic, this has a good chance of success, and this has a strong seismic anomaly. So we have I mean, the CPR provider gave us over 50% chance of success.
It looks, I mean, it does look like a great anomaly, that one, and an opportunity. Actually, you mentioned chance of success, and this is one of the things I'd love to have a quick chat about, because in Egyptian Vulture you said that they're 25% chance of success, but you internally have worked the numbers a little more positively, and in one or two other cases I get the impression that your in-house work is probably a little more positive than some of the companies that you're working with. Is that because of their natural caution, or because you're more excited?
I think it's always the case, when with a CPR provider has to show some caution and always look at each prospect and issue individually. I think when you look at the Norwegian statistics, they are better, and on that specific Egyptian Vulture, we have a more positive view. I think the other ones, I think the CPR provider, the CPR is good, actually, so generally, and the volumes are good, I believe. So, but just on that one specifically, we are a bit more optimistic.
Excellent. Before I go on to look at the other ones, I listened in the other day, and I know one or two people were asking questions about it. First of all, you raised £35 million to begin with. Presumably you've got a little bit left of that, but you've also mentioned that you've already got a tax refund, because Norway is still very positive in terms. Now, obviously there are lots of questions about the new tax regime in Norway, and of course the new government in Norway. Do you think you could sort of try and clear that up for me in overall?
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of cash, we had 38.7 million pounds at reported in the interim, and after that we received a further 5.8 million pounds as a negative tax installment, as it's called, which is basically the state, which is a COVID crisis tax package, which we benefit from, where they pay out your tax, your loss against tax. So that's kind of so the immediate cash position is very good, and we're ready and fully financed for this program. There is a tax proposal on the table. I mean, just to explain, Norway has had a very stable tax regime, benefited from having very broad political support for its tax regime. The tax regime we've had was introduced in 2005, where you had the exploration tax refund. That's been incredibly successful. Norway has added very significant oil and gas resources in that entire almost 20-year period. Then the COVID and the oil price crash hit, and we got this temporary arrangement, which has been criticized by some as being too good for the industry. And the other criticism that has been in Norway is that it's wrong to stimulate exploration more than other parts or other industry. So this proposal, which came as a surprise, addresses both those issues. So instead of having a 78% tax refund against exploration, the proposal is to reduce that to 71.8% tax refund, but against all costs, all E&P costs. So we get a little bit less refunded, but on a bigger cost pool. So we are supportive of this change. It also makes it a lot easier to develop. So financing development projects will be, so you remove the whole hurdle of having to have tax shelter. So it's a good proposal. I would say it's a very good proposal. Needs to see that it gets implemented. So we had general elections and Labour, it's a left Labour government being formed. Labour party were supportive of this change, which was made by the previous Conservative government. So I think they're looking to try to re-establish this broad political support, which would also be really, really good if it happens. That this proposal need to then be turned into, we're in a consultation period at the moment, and we're leading a group of small companies in that consultation process, and then there will be a white paper, and probably in the spring there'll be a decision on it.
But overall, you think it's a reasonable proposal for the industry?
Yes, I think it's a very good proposal actually, and but I think one particular issue we are focused on is that the banks can continue to provide credit against the tax refund, which makes our working capital need much reduced, and so that was in place for the exploration refund, the so-called pledge opportunity. So that and the indications are that government is positive to carrying that forward as well.
Right. Looking at the outlook for Longboat after these 3 wells, you've got some decent wells obviously to come through next year, 4 wells next year minimum, and you've said that you've got your upside of what, 300 odd million barrels, and could be $1 billion worth in the portfolio, and you also said only one of those needs to come in. Talk me through how you see the next phase after where we are from here immediately.
Yeah, I mean, what hopefully we get 1 or 2 successes early on. That would be brilliant. We don't know, but that would be fantastic, and hopefully the share price will react the way we hope. So I mean, all of that, fingers crossed for all of that. And then I think for us, to commercialize discoveries was key to Faroe, is going to be key to us. That could involve swapping, selling, and it could involve financing, appraisal. We remain active in the M&A market in the North Sea, looking for clearly value accretive propositions. So
you've said that if you made a discovery, you would be very tempted to swap that out sort of almost immediately for a production asset. Can I ask 2 questions about that? One is, have you already got an agreement with the people you farmed in with that should that happen, you would do it? And secondly, I'm quite surprised in all the time that you've been in Longboat that you haven't bought any production at all. So a couple of questions there for you, if you don't mind.
No, I think they're good comments, good observations. But we don't have any kind of pre-agreed deals. But we do know that these volumes, if these discoveries are made, these volumes will be sought after. And for people who own the infrastructure, it's always looking to have big stakes, and you're looking at quite big companies owning that infrastructure. So for them. And yeah, we are looking to have production clearly, and we have been looking, but for us it has to be production at the right terms, you know. So and
that's what everyone says.
yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
says
but
that, and it's always been, I think, over the years, that's one of the things that I've noticed is that, you know, people always say that you can't have an E&P company if you're doing lots of E, you'll need the P side of it, but and they always say production is too expensive, but there's quite a lot of deals going on in the certainly in the UK side of the North Sea, if not
yes,
in Norway. Do you think that it's difficult but not too difficult to find?
it's not impossible. I think for us is always about finding the right assets, and for us, I think for assets that have some technical upside, I think some reservoirs that are not recognized to or opportunities that others don't value is really key for us to do a good deal. Because if it's just pure production and 2P reserves, then you know, we typically compete with private equity companies that would leverage this a lot more than us. So I think that's the challenge for us, is the financing the equity market.
So in-house you've got in-house you've got quite a sort of a strict rule about swapping out discovery for production.
Yeah, I think discipline is always extremely important in M&A. You know, you have to not get carried away. You get carried away, you're ending up suffering later. So yeah. We just have to yeah, but we have a very good people, and good understanding. We looked at so many of these reservoirs before, so we're in a good spot, I would say.
Yeah, it looks excellent. We're almost running out of time, so what I'd like to do now is to ask what I always ask my CEO guests, is to say what would your vision for Longboat be over, say, the next 18 months? I know we've talked about all the parts of what you've put together and you've announced recently, but yeah. And I know you want to be a full cycle company. And talk me through your vision, Helge.
It's very simple. 18 months, a few discoveries and a deal, and then in 18 months, hopefully we have some further wells to drill. We have hopefully maybe some production, maybe some contingent resources that we are looking to trade. So I think we'll be another long step towards full cycle E&P.
You built a really exciting group of assets and so on. You don't feel vulnerable to someone coming along and taking you over when you're in such a young age.
Yeah, that would be a shame, I think. But you know, I mean, we're a public listed company. We're always kind of open for ideas. But I think at this stage, it's very early. I think we have a long way to go still.
Yeah. When I was in your meeting the other day, I couldn't help noting that you and your team are full of confidence and excitement. And I know it's taken a little longer than most people thought, but you know, I just wanted to note how I thought that the confidence was really ensuing through Longboat. And I know that you know, the marketplace has said afterwards that that's the case. And yeah. So, you know, I'd just like to say it's been a joy to be able to talk to you on the TV this morning. And so thank you very much indeed for being my guest today.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Those good words. Thanks a lot, Malcy, and looking forward to next exciting time ahead.
I'm looking forward to that too. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
My guest today on Core Finance London CEO interview has been Helge Hammer, the CEO of Longboat Energy, and he's given us a great insight into the new business. So I'd like to thank him, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye now.